Okay, now we're ready to put the sweet potatoes on the drying trays. This is one of those paraflex sheets. You use it for like fruit roll-ups and stuff like that. It keeps the sweet potato stuff from going through the mesh of the screen. Get you a big spoon, and I take about 2 decent size scoops with a commercial serving spoon, and then use an icing spatula and then just spread it out like you're icing a cake. And you want to end up with it about 1/4 of an inch thick as best you can, because if you get it any thicker, it'll take a whole lot longer to dry, plus it may actually mold before it starts drying, and then that sucks. I found that the 2 scoops, once all spread out, pretty much give me my 1/4 inch. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. And if you find out you need a little more, you can always just get your little dab and fill in a corner or something. Okay, so there you go. I'm happy with that. Everything's pretty much 1/4. See? So we have like a, I don't know what you'd call that. It's a 1/4 inch layer of sweet potatoes, all I know. But ice it like a cake, try to get it as even as you can. And then you put it in the dehydrator. I'm going to do this 8 more times and then I'll be back. Alright, now then, we put the sweet potatoes in the dehydrator last night, or yesterday, and now they're about halfway dried. They're stuck to the paraflex sheet and starting to break up and dry up real good. So what you need to do now is take them all out, flip them, and then peel the backing, the paraflex sheet off, so that they will dry faster and continuously. After you do all that, you put them back in the dehydrator. You do this step when they're about 1/2 to 3/4 dry. If when you peel them, the sweet potato sticks to the center of the paraflex sheet or anywhere else, you need to put them back in and let them dry some more before you try to peel them off. It doesn't really hurt anything, it just leaves potato, it takes potato away and leaves it stuck on the sheet. I mean, if you want to do it then you still can. Anyway, we'll be back whenever they're dry and brittle. Bye. Good morning. It is now tomorrow. We put these in the dehydrator yesterday. Now, what we're after is we want these to be brittle. Apparently they are. So, what we'll do, let me get a bowl to put them in. We'll take these, break them up, put them in the bowl, and then we'll pulverize them a little farther with our this out of the way. Okay, now what we've got, oh, I don't know, you can see about what it's broke up into. One sheet of it is just about the right amount to go in the blender to powder it. If you put in too much, the blender doesn't do a good job. So one tray of sweet potatoes is just about right. We'll get the blender set up and then we'll move on. Be back in a minute. Okay, here's the blender. It can be any old cheap old blender. It does not have to be a Vitamix or nothing like that. We take the crumpled up pieces, just pour them in the blender, put the lid on. Now then, this is going to get real loud for a minute, and there's nothing we can do about that. So just plug your ears, put the blender on the fastest speed that will stay running by itself, unless you want to stand there and hold a button. Generally, a minute is more than enough time. Generally, a minute is more than enough time. Open it up. Powder comes out. And here you have, you can tell it's probably about like cornmeal. You don't want really coarse, because it'll take longer to rehydrate. So this is generally somewhere between flour and cornmeal, and it generally rehydrates almost instantly. Okay, from here we'll take a quart jar, then a canning funnel, put it in the quart jar, and it will take there'll be a little bit more than this quart jar full with the 9 trays from the 15 pounds of sweet potatoes. So this probably holds around 13.5, 14 pounds of sweet potatoes in this quart jar. Once the jar gets full, I'll pour it into a paper bag in a vacuum bag and seal it up, and we'll show you that next. Be back in a few minutes. Alright, now we're going to package it. Here we've got it all powdered. Here's a quart jar full of sweet potato powder. So I'll show you how I package it for my storage. This is a quart size vacuum bag. This is like a lunch size paper bag. I put the paper bag inside the vacuum bag and then dump the sweet potato powder inside. Okay, the purpose of the paper bag does a couple of things. For one thing, it gives it some degree of darkness. Okay, now I feel to the top of my powder, and I take a pair of scissors and I cut the bag off. Okay, then I take one piece of paper towel that's like the Bounty Selecta size, which is what, about 5 or 6 inches. I'll pull it up and I'll cover the top of it with the paper towel. And what that does, that acts as an air filter, so that whenever you vacuum this, it will let the air suck out of the bag, but it won't let the powdered sweet potato get up and affect your seal. Okay? So anyway, hold on just a minute. You know what a vacuum packer looks like. I'm going to vacuum pack this right quick and I'll be right back. vacuum packer in the background. We're hard at it. And I'll show you the finished product in just a second. Okay, here is the finished product. Got a good seal, and as you can tell, right there is a tiny bit of sweet potato powder, but you can't see any up in here, so this kept the sweet potato powder from sucking up and messing up the seal. So anyway, from start to finish, this is how I dehydrate sweet potatoes. If the movie hadn't been that good, sorry about that. This is my first time to ever try to make something, film it, and I guess now I'll have to edit it all by my lonesome. So I didn't have a cameraman or anything staying with the product center up in the picture. So anyway, hope this helps somebody. You should be able to accomplish it from the steps I've given you in the little video. So good luck to all, and see you next time.